The story begins when a mysterious man arrives at the headquarters of a powerful corporation. As soon as he walks up to the reception desk, the woman sitting there is shocked to see him. He asks to meet the company's top executive, but the receptionist tells him to wait. A few moments later, security guards approach him and order him to leave, but he calmly refuses. Without saying another word, he heads straight toward the elevator. One of the guards tries to stop him, but he effortlessly pushes past him and keeps moving forward. That's when everyone realizes that he is no ordinary man. The guard attacks him, but with incredible speed, he dodges every strike and steps into the elevator before anyone can stop him. On the way, he finds an employee's ID card, which allows him to reach the company's highest floor. As soon as he arrives, he walks directly into the general manager's office without hesitation. Everyone inside is stunned to see him. At that moment, a young woman and a man step in front of him. He recognizes them immediately because they were his childhood friends. But surprisingly, neither of them recognizes him at all. It is then revealed that the mysterious man's name is Danny, and he is actually the true heir to the entire company. The story then jumps back 15 years, where we learn that Danny mysteriously disappeared as a child. Now, after 15 long years, he has finally returned, but no one knows that he is the missing son of one of New York's wealthiest families. Danny tries to talk to his old friends, but instead of listening, they immediately call security. Within moments, armed guards rush into the office and point their guns at him. Although Danny could have defeated them with ease, he chooses not to fight. In the end, security forces him out of the building. After leaving, he returns to his old home, only to discover that the locks were changed many years ago. Seeing no one around, he climbs onto the second-floor balcony and quietly enters the house. Inside, he finds that everything has changed over the past 15 years. The only thing left untouched is an old photograph of him smiling with his childhood friends. Looking at the picture brings back a flood of memories, and he makes up his mind to uncover what really happened to him 15 years ago. As night falls, Danny has nowhere to stay, so he sits alone beneath a tree, quietly listening to music. A little while later, a stranger comes over and sits beside him. The two begin talking, and before long, an unexpected friendship starts to grow between them. Meanwhile, the stranger searches for information about Danny on his phone. He finds an old news report stating that Danny and his parents were killed in a plane crash many years ago. That is why the entire world still believes Danny is dead. The next morning, Danny goes to meet his childhood friend Joy. He wants to tell her the whole truth, but Joy refuses to listen to a single word. She warns him that if he keeps following her, she will call the police. Left with no choice, Danny walks away. Just then, a speeding taxi races toward him, but Danny instantly saves himself with an incredible leap. Seeing his unbelievable agility, even Joy is left speechless. After that, Danny goes to a nearby park and begins practicing martial arts by himself. The people there mistake him for a homeless man, and a woman tries to give him some money. Danny attempts to return it, but the woman refuses to take it back. He then notices that she is handing out flyers for a martial arts school. Danny follows her to the school and asks for a job, but the woman leaves without giving him any answer. On the other hand, Danny's childhood friend Ward is driving somewhere in his car. Seizing the opportunity, Danny gets into the car and tries to convince him that he is the real Danny. But Ward panics and immediately pulls out a gun, ordering him to stop the car. As soon as the car comes to a halt, Danny swiftly disarms him, but he has no intention of hurting him. He only wants Ward to believe the truth. Ward explains that for the past 15 years, everyone has believed Danny and his entire family died in the plane crash because no wreckage or bodies were ever found after the accident. Danny reminds him of several memories from their childhood to prove his identity, but Ward still refuses to believe him. In the end, Danny frightens him by speeding the car down the road before slamming on the brakes at the very last second. Even then, he fails to earn Ward's trust. Afterward, Danny returns to the same martial arts school and wants to challenge its strongest fighter. But before anyone even hears him out, he is thrown outside. He is walking alone on the street when a man suddenly attacks him with a staff. Using his incredible fighting skills, Danny dodges every strike and knocks him to the ground within seconds. The entire fight is being watched by the same Chinese woman standing above, and she is amazed by Danny's abilities. Danny then realizes that the attacker is actually Ward's bodyguard. As he looks around, he sees several more armed men closing in on him. To escape, Danny quickly disappears into a crowded marketplace. There, he puts on a mask and tries to blend into the crowd, but the guards continue searching for him without stopping. Suddenly, Danny leaps down from above, takes down one of the guards, grabs his gun, and vanishes into the crowd once again. However, another guard soon spots him. The guard quietly follows Danny from behind. The moment he gets the chance, he pulls out his gun and aims it at Danny, but Danny senses his presence before he can act. He instantly turns around, strikes him, and drops the guard to the ground with a single move. After warning him not to follow again, Danny walks away. On the other side, Ward receives a phone call informing him that even his guards failed to stop Danny. Hearing this leaves him completely shaken, because he never imagined Danny had become such a dangerous and highly trained fighter. From that moment on, Ward begins to fear Danny's return. Terrified, he goes to a secret location to meet his father. The two agree that the world must never find out that Danny is still alive. If the truth comes out, the company and fortune they have taken over will slip out of their hands in an instant. They also begin to fear that if Danny survived the plane crash, then his parents might still be alive as well. If that happens, every plan they have made will fall apart. Ward's father realizes that his son cannot handle Danny alone, so he decides to take control of the situation himself. Meanwhile, Danny returns to the park to meet the same friend who stood by him during his hardest time, but the moment he arrives, he is left completely devastated. His friend is lying dead beneath the tree. Heartbroken, Danny sits beside him and gently covers his body with a piece of cloth. It does not take him long to realize that his enemies are responsible for the murder. He starts blaming himself for his friend's death and is crushed with guilt. Now he understands that Ward has completely changed and is willing to go to any extent to have him killed. Because of this, Danny decides to make one final attempt to tell Joy the entire truth. When Danny meets Joy, he has no idea that she is about to betray him. Joy secretly mixes a sleeping drug into his tea. As soon as Danny drinks it, his vision begins to blur, and within moments he loses consciousness. When he wakes up, he finds himself tied to a hospital bed. The doctors around him are trying to keep him safe from the effects of the drug. After a while, Danny falls asleep once again. The next time he wakes up, a doctor sits beside him and starts asking him questions. Suddenly, a man disguised as a doctor grabs a sharp instrument and tries to attack Danny. But before he can do anything, the other doctors and hospital staff rush into the room and immediately restrain him. It is later revealed that the man was mentally unstable and had entered the hospital disguised as a doctor only to assassinate Danny. Once everything calms down, the doctor asks Danny about the plane crash that happened 15 years ago. Danny then recalls the most painful moment of his life. He explains that he was traveling on the plane with his parents when it suddenly crashed in midair. His mother tried to comfort him, but the aircraft began breaking apart the very next moment. A powerful gust of wind ripped his mother out of the plane. Witnessing the horrifying scene left Danny in such deep shock that he passed out. When he finally regained consciousness, he found himself surrounded by snow-covered mountains. Sitting in front of him were two monks who had saved his life. Back at the hospital, the doctor listens carefully to Danny's entire story. Although it sounds strange and difficult to believe, he still writes down every detail Danny shares. Afterward, the doctor leaves the room, and Danny sits alone, lost in thoughts of his painful past. The next morning, a doctor enters Danny's room, along with another patient. As they walk through the hospital, the patient explains that this is not an ordinary hospital but a psychiatric facility for mentally ill patients. While they are talking, the man deliberately provokes another patient. Furious, the patient charges toward them, but Danny steps in, stops him, and knocks him to the ground while defending himself. Seeing this, the hospital staff immediately rush over. They tie Danny back to the bed once again and inject him with a sedative to calm him down, causing him to lose consciousness. Sometime later, the same patient comes back to meet Danny. He tells Danny that he must find a way to escape from the hospital. He then unties Danny's restraints and gives him a chance to call someone he trusts. Danny immediately calls Colleen, the woman from the martial arts school. He asks her to come to the hospital and help him, but Colleen asks why she should help him at all. Smiling, Danny replies that she is the only person so far who has not tried to kill him. Even so, Colleen does not want to get involved in any trouble, so she refuses to help and hangs up the phone. Danny is left completely disappointed. What he does not realize is that every move he makes inside the hospital is being watched. On the other side, Ward and his father are monitoring everything as well. To find out whether Danny's story is true, they send their men to investigate the site of the plane crash, but they find neither the mysterious temple nor the monks Danny had mentioned. This makes Ward believe that Danny may be lying. After that, Ward visits the martial arts school and tries to get information about Danny from Colleen. He even offers her money, but she refuses to tell him anything. Sometime later, she comes to the hospital to see Danny. Danny thinks she has finally come to help him escape, but Colleen is only carrying a set of documents. She explains that Ward sent the papers and wants Danny to sign them. Once he signs these documents, Danny will officially be declared mentally unstable and can be locked inside the hospital forever. Danny asks Colleen why Ward is doing all this. For the first time, he reveals his true identity. He tells her that he is the rightful heir to one of New York's richest companies, and the fortune that Ward's family controls actually belongs to him. Hearing this, Colleen realizes that the situation is far bigger than she expected. She does not want to get involved in such a dangerous conflict, so she starts to leave with the papers. Just then, Danny asks her for one final favor. He requests that she deliver his bag to Joy. In the end, Colleen agrees to help him with this one small request. When Joy opens the bag, she finds something inside that leaves her completely stunned. The bag contains the same candies that were a special childhood memory shared only between Danny and Joy. The moment she sees them, Joy becomes certain that Danny is truly alive and is the same childhood friend who mysteriously disappeared 15 years ago. After that, Colleen also hands her the documents Ward had sent. Joy firmly says that Danny will never sign those papers. hours. At that very moment, Ward arrives and notices Colleen walking out of the office. Meanwhile, at the hospital, the doctors pretend that Danny is being discharged. They dress him in fresh clothes and appear to escort him outside, but instead, they take him into a locked room. 3 men are already waiting for him there. Without saying a word, they attack Danny and brutally beat him. As Danny collapses to the floor in pain, he hears that this is a gift sent by Ward. The moment he hears those words, all of his childhood memories come rushing back. He remembers that Ward was once his closest friend, yet he stole his company, tried to have him killed, and even plotted to lock him away in a mental hospital. Overwhelmed by anger and pain, something mysterious suddenly awakens inside Danny. A strange energy begins flowing from his hand. In the next instant, he defeats all 3 men with ease. He then uses all of his strength to smash through the heavy iron door and escapes from the room. On the other side, Ward's father, Harold, is watching everything through the security cameras. Even he is stunned by Danny's unbelievable power. In the end, Danny successfully escapes from the hospital. After escaping, Danny has nowhere else to go, so he heads to Colleen's martial arts school. The moment Colleen sees him, she tells him to leave because she does not want to get involved in any more trouble. But when Danny refuses to go, an intense fight breaks out between them. Danny only keeps avoiding her attacks and eventually overpowers her with ease. Even then, Colleen refuses to give up. Finally, she orders him to leave. Danny then promises to pay a full year's rent for the school in advance and also offers to repair the door that was damaged during their fight at his own expense. Since the school is in desperate need of money, Colleen accepts his offer and allows him to stay there. The next day, Danny arrives outside his old house. Someone else is living there now. Joy has just placed a rose and some fruit at the front door and is about to leave when she notices Danny. This time, instead of calling the police, she sits down beside him because she is now completely convinced that he is the real Danny. She asks where he has been for the last 15 years and how he managed to survive. Danny simply replies that no one would ever believe his story. After that, the two go inside the house. Seeing everything there brings back a flood of old memories for Danny. Just then, Joy shows him a legal document. It states that if Danny gives up all his rights to the company, changes his name, and stays away from the business forever, he will receive $1 billion in return. Hearing this makes Danny furious. He realizes that Ward is trying to take away not only his shares, but every right that belongs to him. Joy tries to convince him that such a huge amount of money would let him live comfortably for the rest of his life, but Danny firmly refuses the offer. He collects a few of his old belongings, leaves the house, and silently vows that he will reclaim both his identity and everything that rightfully belongs to him. Later, Danny waits outside the company for someone to arrive. After a while, as soon as a woman walks out of the building, he quietly begins following her. The woman suspects that someone is trailing her, so she quickly takes out a can of pepper spray to protect herself. Danny immediately tells her his name. The woman recognizes him at once. She had once been Danny's father's personal secretary. Danny then tells her everything that has happened to him over the past 15 years. After hearing his story, she finally becomes convinced that the man standing before her is the real Danny. Danny then asks her to help him fight a legal case against Ward and his company. The next day, the two meet to discuss the case. The lawyer tells Danny that winning it will not be easy because he has no official documents to prove his identity. After hearing this, Danny goes to the records room of the old hospital to search for his birth certificate. There, he notices a mysterious man dressed in black. Before Danny can even figure out who he is, the man suddenly attacks him. He is carrying a bottle filled with gasoline and is preparing to set the entire records room on fire. Seeing this fills Danny with anger. The same mysterious power begins gathering in his hand once again. He charges at the attacker, and an intense fight breaks out between them. During the battle, the man tries to ignite the room with a lighter, but Danny throws it away just in time. The attacker then pulls out a small knife and lunges at Danny, but Danny quickly overpowers him as well. Realizing that he cannot defeat Danny, the man decides to run away. But before escaping, he lights the room on fire and leaves Danny trapped inside. Flames quickly spread throughout the building. As Danny searches for a way out, he notices an unconscious woman lying nearby. Without caring about his own safety, he lifts her onto his shoulder and carries her out of the burning building. Thanks to his bravery, an innocent life is saved. After that, Danny heads to a cafe where Joy and Ward are already waiting. Danny directly asks Ward why he betrayed him in such a cruel way. Ward coldly replies that Danny should have died 15 years ago. Hearing those words, Danny loses his temper and slams the glass on the table with all his force. The two are about to fight when Joy steps between them. In her anger, she says things that completely break Danny's heart. Danny realizes that no one is willing to believe him anymore, so he quietly walks away, but silently vows that he will reclaim everything that rightfully belongs to him. The following day, Danny arrives at the company with his lawyer. She serves the company with a legal notice demanding that Danny's Danny's rights be fully restored and that his 51% ownership in the company be returned to him. Ward immediately argues that Danny has no proof that he is the rightful heir. At that moment, the lawyer places an old ashtray on the table in front of him. Ward cannot understand what it has to do with the case. Danny then tells him to look underneath the ashtray. Hidden beneath it is an old message that Danny wrote for Joy when they were children. Even then, Ward refuses to accept it as evidence. The lawyer then points out the fingerprints on the ashtray, explaining that they could completely change the outcome of the case. The fingerprints are examined and are found to be a perfect match with Danny's fingerprints. Seeing this leaves both Joy and Ward completely stunned. Danny's lawyer confidently declares that they now have solid proof of Danny's true identity. Even so, Ward keeps making excuses in an attempt to delay the case, but even his own lawyers have already realized that everything is now turning in Danny's favor. After that, Danny and his lawyer leave the company, while Ward remains behind, lost in deep thought. That same night, Danny secretly tries to break into the company building. Since the main entrance is protected by a security passcode, he decides to climb the outside of the building instead. After a difficult climb, he finally reaches the top floor and is just about to enter through a window when someone suddenly shoves him with great force. Danny begins falling, but at the last second he grabs onto a metal railing. He struggles to hold on for a few moments, but eventually loses his grip. Fortunately, a concrete ledge below breaks his fall and saves his life. When Danny regains consciousness, he finds himself lying on a sofa inside Ward's office. A few moments later, Ward walks toward him carrying a cup of coffee. Just then, another man enters the room. The moment Danny sees him, he is left completely stunned because it is Harold. Everyone believed Harold had died of cancer years ago, but he is actually alive and has been living in secret all this time. Harold turns out to be Danny's uncle. Seeing him fills Danny with emotion, and he immediately embraces him. Harold tells Danny that no one must find out that he is still alive. He then turns to Ward and says there is no point in hiding the truth anymore. He should accept that Danny is the rightful heir to the company and that all of his rights must be returned to him. Ward objects to the decision, but Harold firmly declares that it is final. Left with no choice, Ward is forced to agree. Danny officially regains his place as the head of the Rand family. However, as they leave in the elevator, Ward quietly tells Danny one thing: be careful of Harold. Hearing those words leaves Danny confused. The next day, Danny arrives at the company. As soon as he enters, he sees several armed men kidnapping Joy and forcing her away. Joy cries out for help, and Danny immediately rushes to her rescue. He begins taking down the attackers one by one. At that moment, the rest of the men also charge at him. Using his incredible martial arts skills, Danny dodges every attack while fighting them back. Meanwhile, the kidnappers drag Joy into an elevator. Danny sprints toward it and jams his hand between the closing elevator doors, forcing them open with all his strength before jumping inside. Despite the cramped space, he fights all of the attackers by himself. When the elevator doors open again, every single thug is lying unconscious on the floor. During the fight, one injured attacker tells the others that they must return to Black Haven immediately. It is then revealed that Black Haven is not an ordinary place, but a highly dangerous criminal organization. Hearing this, the remaining attackers quickly flee the scene. Danny safely rescues Joy and takes her straight to Colleen's martial arts school. After arriving there, he begins asking Colleen about the mysterious organization. Colleen tells Danny that Black Haven is an area controlled by a dangerous gang known as the Bradmo Gang. It is considered one of the most powerful criminal groups in the city. Wanting to learn the truth, Danny decides to meet them himself. He goes to the Black Haven restaurant in Chinatown and heads upstairs, asking the receptionist to arrange a meeting with their leader, but the employee immediately orders him to leave. Just then, the door opens and several gang members walk inside. Danny recognizes them at once because they are the same men who attacked him earlier. A bald man named Adam then arrives. He is the leader of the entire operation. Danny looks straight at Adam and asks why he ordered the attack on Joy. Adam replies that Joy stole something from their organization, so they took revenge. But Danny explains that Joy did not do it willingly, and that someone else had forced her into it. When Adam asks who could be behind such a dangerous scheme, Danny mentions only one name. The moment Adam hears it, his expression completely changes. He immediately apologizes to Danny and walks away without saying another word. Before leaving, Danny gives him a clear warning that his men must stay away from Joy and her friends from now on. Danny returns to the martial arts school. Colleen believes that all their problems are finally over. Just then, Danny suddenly grabs her hand. Colleen is startled, but Danny explains that one of the bones in her wrist has slipped out of place. With a simple movement, he puts it back where it belongs. Within moments, her hand is completely healed. After that, Danny and Joy leave the school together. Meanwhile, at Black Haven, Adam is sitting with his men and having a meal. Suddenly, a group of masked warriors arrives. They ask about the man who rescued Joy. joy. One of Adam's men is about to answer when one of the masked attackers kills him on the spot. A brutal fight immediately breaks out between the two sides. It is then revealed that the attackers are members of a deadly secret organization known as the Hand. This organization has been fighting the Bradmo gang for control of the territory for a long time. On the other side, an important meeting of the Rand Company's board of directors is underway. Suddenly, the door opens, and Danny confidently walks into the room. Everyone is shocked to see him. Without any hesitation, Danny sits down in his own chair. Now even Ward cannot stop him, because Danny has officially become the company's largest shareholder with a controlling 51% stake. During the meeting, the board discusses a new medicine developed by the company. The drug has the potential to save people from a deadly disease, and the company plans to sell it across South America and Eastern Europe. The discussion then turns to its pricing. One executive explains that each package costs only $1 to produce. He suggests selling it for $50 so the company can earn enormous profits. But Danny strongly opposes the idea. He says that a medicine meant to save lives should not be treated as a tool for making money, and that its price should be affordable for everyone who needs it. Ward argues that this is how business works, and that making profits is the company's main goal, but Danny firmly replies that the medicine will be sold at the same price it costs to produce. His decision leaves every board member stunned. No one is able to argue against him. Danny says that he has no intention of making money from people's pain and illness. Ward tries to convince him that it is only his first day at the company, and that he should not rush into making such major decisions. But Danny refuses to change his mind. He reminds everyone that he is now the company's largest shareholder, so the final decision belongs to him. In the end, everyone is forced to accept his decision. A few days later, Danny is practicing alone in his room. Suddenly, someone knocks on the door. He looks through the peephole, but no one is there. As soon as he opens the door, he notices a small box lying on the floor. Inside the box, he finds a letter and a packet filled with white powder. The message is from Adam. Danny immediately takes the packet and goes straight to Ward's office. Placing it on the desk, he explains that it contains illegal drugs that were recently smuggled into the city through the Rand Company's shipping port. Danny suspects that someone inside the company is helping the smugglers and may even be connected to the Hand, but Ward refuses to take the matter seriously. He tells Danny that it is his problem and wants nothing to do with it. After that, Danny heads to the martial arts school. The moment Colleen sees him, she realizes that he has come for something important. Danny tells her that he needs to discuss a serious matter. A little while later, he orders food for both of them from a nearby restaurant. When the delicious meal is placed in front of them, even Colleen is surprised. Just then, one of her students, Claire, walks in and joins them. Jokingly, she says it is the first time she's ever had the chance to eat such amazing restaurant food. Danny had hoped to speak with Colleen alone, but Colleen lets Claire stay with them. The three of them enjoy the meal together. After a while, Claire realizes that Danny and Colleen need to discuss something important. She packs some food to take with her and quietly leaves. Once Claire is gone, Danny finally gets to the real issue. He tells Colleen that he is certain someone inside the Rand Company is working with the Hand to smuggle illegal goods and dangerous drugs through the company's shipping port. If this operation is not stopped, countless innocent lives could be put in danger. That is why he asks Colleen to help him with the investigation, but Colleen immediately refuses. She says she only runs a martial arts school and does not want to get involved in such dangerous matters. Even so, Danny keeps trying to convince her. He tells her that he is not asking for anything major, only a little help. He even reveals that she no longer has to worry about paying rent because he has already bought the entire building. At first, Colleen is annoyed by what he says, but after thinking it over for a while, she finally agrees to help Danny. On Monday night, Danny and Colleen arrive together at the company's shipping port. The entire area is under heavy security. To avoid being caught, they quietly climb onto the top of a large shipping container. From there, Danny begins recording videos of all the cargo being loaded and unloaded with his phone. But collecting evidence alone is not enough for him. He also wants to know what is actually being hidden inside those containers. That is why he secretly climbs into one of the trucks. Just then, the workers outside unknowingly shut the truck's doors, and the truck quickly drives away. Colleen watches everything happen right in front of her and immediately sets off to follow it. Inside the truck, Danny notices a hidden door. As soon as he opens it, he finds a man casually sitting there watching a football match. The moment Danny sees him, he realizes this is no ordinary person. Without saying a word, the man pulls out a gun and fires at Danny, but Danny throws a nearby metal container at him, knocking the gun out of his hand. A fierce hand-to-hand fight immediately begins between them. During the fight, the man pulls out a knife and tries to stab Danny, but in the struggle, the knife accidentally strikes a chemist standing nearby. Danny knocks the attacker to the ground and rushes over to the injured chemist. His condition is critical, and he is on the verge of dying. Using all his strength, Danny smashes open the truck's heavy door. At that very moment, Colleen catches up to the truck in her car. Danny jumps out of the truck carrying the injured chemist. Colleen quickly helps them into her car, and the two take him back to the martial arts school. Although he is in critical condition, they hope that once he regains consciousness, he will reveal many important secrets about the Hand. The following day, Danny and Ward search the old warehouses where the smuggled goods were stored. As soon as they enter one warehouse, Danny recognizes the same truck in which he was trapped the previous night. When they open the truck's doors, they are shocked to find a dead body inside. Ward is about to call the police, but he stops himself, fearing the damage it could cause to the company's reputation. Danny carefully examines the body and realizes it is the same man he fought the previous night. He understands that the hand killed its own man because he failed to stop Danny. Just then, Danny finds a matchbox lying beside the body. Inside it is a message from the hand addressed directly to him. After returning to the martial arts school, Danny tells Colleen everything that happened. He explains that the hand has openly challenged him. The organization will send its strongest warrior to face him. If Danny wins, they will leave the area forever. But if he loses, his death is certain. Danny brushes off the challenge and confidently says that he will win with ease. Meanwhile, Colleen's student Claire believes Danny is exaggerating everything. Danny tells her to stay quiet, upsetting Claire so much that she storms away. After that, Danny begins preparing for the dangerous battle. He trains relentlessly because he refuses to lose under any circumstances. Colleen comes to him and tries to convince him that risking his life is not worth it, but Danny confidently replies that he has complete faith in his victory. Even so, Colleen cannot stop worrying. She fears that if Danny loses, she will lose him forever. As night falls, Danny arrives at the agreed location. The moment he steps inside, the door shuts behind him on its own. A mysterious woman dressed in white then appears before him. She welcomes Danny and tells him that if he loses the fight, he must stay out of the hand's affairs forever. Without showing any fear, Danny accepts the condition and follows her into the arena. Once they arrive, both sides make a small cut on their hands and use their blood to draw a circle on the ground. The rule is simple. Whoever steps outside the circle loses the match. The woman strikes the ground with her staff, signaling the start of the fight. Danny then realizes that he is not facing one opponent, but two deadly warriors, each armed with razor-sharp knives. The two warriors attack Danny together without giving him a moment to breathe, and eventually they knock him to the ground. At that very moment, Danny begins remembering the words of his master. It feels as if his master is standing right in front of him, encouraging him to keep fighting. The memory fills Danny with new determination, and he rises to his feet once again, fighting with even greater strength than before. Now, even the two warriors cannot keep up with his speed. They try to distract him with clever tricks, but Danny sees through every move they make. Although they manage to knock him down once again, this time as well, his master's teachings refuse to let him give up. Danny gets back on his feet, and with lightning-fast reflexes, dodges both of their knife attacks before defeating the first warrior with one powerful strike. With that, he wins the deadly battle. Danny realizes that it was his master's teachings and faith that gave him the strength to succeed. After the victory, he looks toward the mysterious woman. Without saying a single word, she quietly walks away. After that, Danny and Colleen head to the abandoned factory where illegal activities are suspected to be taking place. A guard is standing watch outside. Danny throws a stone into the distance to distract him. As soon as the guard turns toward the sound, Colleen sneaks up behind him and knocks him unconscious. They hide his body and quietly enter the factory. Once inside, they discover that the place is actually a secret laboratory where large quantities of drugs are being manufactured and shipped overseas. The two begin searching the entire facility for evidence. Meanwhile, Claire is keeping watch outside the factory. Suddenly, she sees Madame Gao arriving with a group of armed men. She immediately wants to warn Danny, but she has no phone with her. With no other choice, she repeatedly honks the car horn to alert them. The moment Danny and Colleen hear the horn, they immediately hide. On the other side, Madame Gao grows suspicious after hearing the continuous horn and realizes that someone may be nearby. She orders her guards to go outside and investigate. As the guards move toward Claire, she quickly starts the car and speeds away. Meanwhile, Danny and Colleen remain hidden inside the factory. A few moments later, Colleen steps out into the hallway, where a deadly female warrior spots her. Without hesitation, the warrior draws her sword, and an intense sword fight begins between them. Before long, the warrior starts gaining the upper hand. During the battle, Colleen's weapon is knocked from her grasp and slides across the floor. Just then, Claire returns with the car. She grabs the weapon from the ground and throws it toward Colleen. Colleen catches it just in time and launches a counterattack, knocking the female warrior to the ground and leaving her unconscious. Meanwhile, Danny reaches another section of the factory. There, he notices a man sleeping on the floor. Thinking he is just a homeless person, Danny gives him some money and politely tells him to sleep somewhere else. But the man smiles and replies, "If you want to go any farther, you'll have to get past me first." With those words, he slowly rises to his feet, making it clear that the real battle is about to begin. The man standing before Danny is a master of a very unusual martial art. His fighting style resembles that of a drunken man man, making it almost impossible to predict his next move. He keeps taking drinks from his bottle during the fight, and with every sip, his attacks become even faster and more dangerous. At first, Danny manages to dodge most of his strikes, but little by little he begins to struggle against this strange fighting style. After several powerful attacks, the man knocks Danny to the ground. He then throws his bottle at Danny, but Danny narrowly avoids it. In the very next moment, Danny fights back, snatches the bottle, and smashes it over the man's head. The man collapses, and in his anger, Danny starts repeatedly striking him. Just then, Colleen arrives and stops him. Hearing her words, Danny calms himself down and steps back. At that moment, Madame Gao appears before them once again. Danny tells her that he does not want to kill her. He only wants to know who murdered his father 15 years ago. But Madame Gao says nothing and simply orders her men to attack. During the fight, one of the guards accidentally wounds his own partner with a poisoned weapon. Within seconds, the poison begins taking effect. Seeing this reminds Danny of the same mysterious poison marks that were found on his father's body. He immediately realizes that Madame Gao was also behind his father's murder. Learning the truth fills Danny with overwhelming rage. He gathers all of his strength into a single punch and strikes with such incredible force that the wall behind them shatters. Even so, Madame Gao manages to escape the blow. Although Danny could have killed her right then, he chooses not to. Instead, he captures her alive and takes her to the martial arts school. Once they arrive, they tie Madame Gao to a chair. Surprisingly, she remains completely calm, as if nothing concerns her at all. Everyone begins wondering how they can make her reveal the truth. Claire suggests handing her over to the police immediately, but Danny refuses because he first wants to uncover the complete truth about his father's death. Smiling, Madame Gao asks why Danny is so obsessed with a 15-year-old mystery. She then coldly tells him that what happened can never be changed. Danny even picks up a weapon to intimidate her, but there is not the slightest sign of fear on her face. She confidently claims that a member of the Hand is not so easily frightened. Claire pulls Danny aside and explains that threatening her will never make her tell the truth. Colleen agrees with Claire as well, but Danny feels that everyone wants to end the matter without uncovering the truth. Just then, Claire remembers that Rand Company developed a drug capable of preventing a person from lying. If they can get that drug, perhaps Madame Gao will finally reveal everything. Colleen agrees with the plan. After that, Danny secretly returns to his company. There, he meets a female doctor who had helped him before. She tells him that the company has forbidden him from entering the building, but she still decides to help him in secret. She gives him the special drug on the condition that no one must ever find out about it. Danny takes the medicine back to the martial arts school. Claire prepares the injection and administers the drug to Madame Gao. Nothing happens for the first few moments. Laughing, Madame Gao claims that the drug is useless. Claire tells everyone to wait a little longer. Soon afterward, Madame Gao begins to feel dizzy, and everyone realizes that the drug has finally started working. Just as Danny is about to question her, she suddenly loses consciousness. Danny thinks the drug may have failed. At that very moment, Colleen steps out of the room, but only a few seconds later, she suddenly collapses to the floor. Danny rushes over to her. When he examines her arm, he realizes that she has been poisoned. Colleen's breathing rapidly worsens, and her condition becomes critical. At the same time, Madame Gao slowly begins to regain consciousness. A faint smile appears on her face, as if everything had gone exactly according to her plan from the very beginning. It is later revealed that Madame Gao's collapse was nothing more than an act. She only wanted to distract Danny and take his attention away from everything else. Meanwhile, Colleen's condition continues to grow worse. Barely able to speak, she tells Danny that only her master, Bakuto, can save her now. Danny immediately calls Bakuto, but he does not answer. In the end, Danny leaves him a voice message, desperately begging him to save Colleen's life. After that, everyone anxiously waits for his arrival. Danny sits helplessly beside Colleen, watching her suffer because there is nothing he can do to save her. A short while later, a man arrives at the door and introduces himself as Colleen's master, but Danny refuses to let him in without confirming his identity. He asks him a few questions, and when all the answers are correct, Danny finally believes that he is the real Bakuto. Bakuto immediately examines Colleen and assures everyone that he can save her. He then tells Danny that there is only one way to save Colleen's life, and only Danny can do it. Danny looks at him in surprise. Bakuto then tells him to use the power of the Iron Fist. Danny gathers all of his energy into the palm of his hand. His fist begins glowing with a brilliant golden light. He then places his hand over Colleen's poisoned wound. Slowly, the power burns the poison away. Colleen screams in pain, but within moments the poison is completely removed from her body, and her life is saved. After Colleen recovers, she and Danny travel to Bakuto's main training center. As time passes, Colleen makes a full recovery. Bakuto now begins teaching Danny how to control his powers more effectively. He explains that his school does more than teach martial arts. It also gives its students a new purpose and a new life. He even invites Danny to join him, but Danny declines the offer. He says that he still has many unfinished responsibilities involving his company and his family. One day, Bakuto shows Danny an old video. In it, a warrior defeats his enemies using a glowing iron fist. Bakuto explains that the true bearer of the iron fist can focus all of his energy into one fist and turn it into a weapon that is almost impossible to defeat. After hearing this, Danny begins to wonder why Bakuto is so interested in his power. Wanting to uncover the truth, Danny secretly decides to investigate the place. Avoiding the guards, he sneaks into a locked room from above and makes his way down to a hidden underground chamber. There, he is shocked to discover that Madame Gao is being held captive. She tells Danny that not everyone around him can be trusted, but Danny refuses to believe her and assumes she is lying. Just then, Bakuto suddenly arrives and catches Danny. He takes him back upstairs. Later, Danny talks to Colleen about his suspicions. He tells her that he saw the same special knife in Bakuto's room that is used only by members of the Hand. Hearing this, Colleen falls silent for a few moments. Her silence tells Danny everything he needs to know. Furious, he accuses Colleen of being part of the Hand and says that she has lied to him from the very beginning. Colleen tries to explain that she has never harmed an innocent person. According to her, all the crimes were committed only by Madame Gao, but Madame Gao also refuses to accept that she alone is responsible for everything. Colleen repeatedly tries to make Danny understand the truth, but his trust has already been completely shattered. When Colleen reaches out to hold his hand, Danny pushes her away. He feels as though his entire life has been built on lies. Through tears, Colleen tells him that her love for him was never a lie, but to Danny, the Hand is the very organization that destroyed his life and tore his family apart. Because of that, he refuses to believe a single word she says. Danny believes Colleen is only trying to justify her actions, so he angrily walks away. That same night, he secretly sneaks into the training center's control room. Seeing the surveillance screens covering every wall leaves him completely shocked. He realizes that every move he has made since arriving there has been watched from the very beginning. Learning the truth fills Danny with rage, and he starts smashing all the monitors and surveillance equipment around him. Just then, Bakuto enters the room. Furious, Danny demands to know if everything that has happened to him from the very beginning was all part of their carefully planned scheme. This time, Bakuto does not try to hide the truth. One by one, he begins confessing everything to Danny. But the moment Danny hears it, he completely loses control and attacks Bakuto without hesitation. A fierce battle immediately erupts between them. Bakuto repeatedly strikes with his weapon, but Danny swiftly dodges every attack. The sound of the fight triggers alarms throughout the entire facility, and guards begin rushing toward them. Seizing the opportunity, Danny tries to escape. Along the way, he meets one of the students who, after learning the truth about Bakuto, decides to help him. The two become trapped in a narrow passage where guards surround them from both sides. But Danny and his ally manage to take down several guards together. Soon, even more guards arrive. Danny runs toward the main gate, but standing in his way is one of Colleen's former students. Danny does not want to hurt him, so he hesitates for a brief moment. Taking advantage of the opening, a guard stabs Danny from behind. Danny is badly wounded. His companion supports him and helps him reach the main gate, but it is locked shut. With no other choice, Danny tries to use the power of the Iron Fist, but this time, he cannot awaken it. It is as if his power has abandoned him. The guards charge toward them once again. At that very moment, Colleen secretly enters the security room. She knocks out the guard inside and opens the main gate. As soon as Danny sees the gate open, he runs toward the exit. Then he realizes that it was Colleen who opened it. He wants to go to her, but his companion quickly pulls him outside before he can stop. Somehow, the two manage to escape. Despite being seriously injured, Danny refuses to go to a hospital. Instead, he goes straight to Claire. The moment Claire sees his wound, she panics and warns him that he could die if the bleeding does not stop. Without wasting a second, she decides to close the wound with a surgical stapler. She carefully cleans the injury first and then sterilizes the stapler before beginning the treatment. Danny cries out in pain with every staple, but eventually the bleeding stops. Afterward, Claire bandages the wound and tells him to get some rest. While she treats him, Danny tells Claire that Colleen betrayed him. The more he talks about everything that happened, the more emotional and angry he becomes. Claire does her best to calm him down. That night, the two sit together and order pizza, but when the delivery arrives, both of them are stunned because the person at the door is Colleen. Claire asks her directly if she really betrayed Danny. Without making any excuses, Colleen admits the truth. However, it is obvious from her expression that the full story has not yet been revealed. child. More than anything, she wants to meet Danny and tell him the entire truth. The story then shifts to Danny, who is practicing martial arts on the rooftop of a building. Just then, Colleen arrives. The moment Danny sees her, he starts keeping his distance because he no longer trusts her at all. Colleen first asks about his injury, but Danny angrily tells her that she no longer has the right to care about him. He reminds her that he ended up in this condition because of Bakudo, who is her master. Even then, Colleen continues defending Bakudo. This only confuses Danny even more, so he walks away from her. In the end, Colleen says that she will remain loyal to her organization and leaves, but even as she walks away, she is still worried about Danny's injury. After that, Colleen goes to the hospital to get medicine for Danny. The doctor hesitates at first, but eventually agrees to help her. Just then, members of the Hand arrive. They surround Colleen and forcefully take her with them. As soon as they reach the headquarters, she is tied to a chair. A little later, Bakuto enters. When he learns that Colleen has been helping Danny, he considers it an act of betrayal and orders his men to kill her. The guards take her into another room, but the moment she gets an opening, Colleen launches a fierce attack. She defeats the guards one by one, even breaks one guard's arm, and finally manages to escape. Meanwhile, Danny has already been watching the headquarters from outside. As soon as he sees Colleen coming out, he runs after her. Colleen senses someone behind her, so she instantly draws her weapon and attacks. Dodging all of her strikes, Danny tells her that he has not come to hurt her. Once he sees the condition she is in, he decides to hear her out. Colleen lowers her weapon as well. After that, Danny takes her to his old friend Davos. However, because Colleen is a member of the Hand, Davos refuses to let her stay with them. The situation becomes so tense that they are on the verge of fighting. Danny steps in and stops them, because on one side is his best friend, and on the other is the woman he loves. In the end, Davos leaves in anger, while Danny tells Colleen to stay hidden there. Just then, Danny receives a phone call. He learns that Bakudo has taken his people hostage. Bakudo threatens Danny to come alone, and to prove he is serious, he even shoots one of the hostages. Danny realizes that Bakudo is not bluffing. He immediately decides to go there. Everyone tries to stop him, but he refuses to listen and heads out alone. As soon as he reaches the headquarters, Danny sees Bakudo about to kill another hostage. He immediately steps in. Bakudo offers him a deal. If Danny surrenders himself, everyone else will be released. To save his friends, Danny gives himself up without hesitation. The guards handcuff him and take him inside. But on the way, Danny awakens the power of the Iron Fist and shatters the handcuffs. He charges straight at Bakudo, but to his surprise, the power of his Iron Fist is not working like before. At that very moment, Davos and Colleen also arrive. They attack the guards. Although the guards have guns, firing inside the building would put everyone at risk, so the fight quickly turns into hand-to-hand combat. Meanwhile, an intense battle erupts between Danny and Bakudo. Bakudo proves to be an incredibly powerful fighter and gives Danny a tough fight. At one point, he delivers a deadly knife strike at Danny, but Danny blocks it with his bare hand. Colleen rushes in to protect him, but the knife cuts her arm as well. After that, the three of them work together and defeat the remaining guards. Now only Bakudo is left. Watching all of his men fall, he panics and tries to escape. Danny immediately chases after him. They pursue him for quite a distance. Eventually, Bakudo stops and decides to make one final stand, but this time, Colleen steps forward. She says she must finish this fight herself because Bakudo was once her master. The final battle begins between them. For a long time, both warriors fight on equal footing. Danny wants to step in and help, but Davos stops him. At last, Colleen finds the perfect opening and drives her knife into Bakudo's stomach. Bakudo collapses to the ground. Even then, he continues cursing them. In the end, Colleen finishes him once and for all,